Well, you mentioned it, Cheika. I don't know how close we've been getting to the side that Cheika will be naming in a few weeks' time, but we've been picking our own Wallaby squad in recent weeks. Tonight, the Wallaby back row is part of our Wallaby watch. Keno, who have you got?
Well, I've gone with the usual suspects in some ways. You've got Scott Fardy, Scotty Higginbotham and Michael Hooper. The only concern you have about Fardy and Higginbotham is just discipline. They work so hard to put themselves in good positions, but they tend to just push themselves up too much to give the free option to the referee to give a penalty away. But that's the hardened back row that I've picked.
Well, my only change to that is I've actually gone with Sean McMahon at number. Well, I saw him on the weekend. I just love his energy, and I think if you have McMahon and Hooper with a really high work rate, I know Higgins doesn't have a massive work rate, but for me, he's got the ability to do unique things, and I think if you have those other two working really hard, it frees him up to show some of his skill set, which not many people have a skill set like Higgins in Australian rugby.
I've thrown a bit of a curly one in here, and look, I wouldn't be a good selector because I reckon I'd just pick everybody that I like, which would probably be everybody playing. And we sat alongside Ned Hannigan, and I think he's gone great guns. He's a nice joker, but I think he's got something that you actually want, and I started thinking about maybe how you'd try things out a little bit in June, and you know, I'd like to see guys like Ned Hannigan get a crack. We've got Tamani there as your ball carrier, and Hooper to sort of bring it all together, the glue, the experience, and curious to hear particularly what Cheika has about my selections.
Anybody close?
You've got to get on the
Poker, isn't it? I thought it was poker. I'm not allowed to say anything at this point. Mate, I think there's obviously some established candidates there. You know, like Scott Higginbotham hasn't been in the squads that we've had lurking around. What I have liked about him is he's kept his chin up, hasn't sulked, and he's got on with playing footy. You know what I mean? And he's making a good impact for his team. But then there's a bunch of lads like Hannigan, right? And it's not just because he's a good bloke and you like him. Korchik, who we've been very impressed with. Dempsey, who'll be back in a couple of weeks. And then, of course, Sean back and Lepetti coming back from a suspension now. And the other player who I feel has been outstanding has been Richard Hardwick. I think that he has he's made his way into the squad. I've only met him a couple of times. He's got an excellent personality. I think you saw his desire, if you just looked at the game on Sunday morning against the Jaguars, like he was in the middle of everything that got those other guys, got their nose out of joint, you know, and I really like that.
That's the thing, isn't it? We seem to spend a lot of time kicking cans about a lack of depth in Australian rugby, and you talk about that, and you've just thrown up, almost a dozen blokes probably between the four of you. So
Pocock's not even here.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So it's no complainer.